morning, Chris from Spruce It Up Garden Center. Even though we have snow on the ground this morning, believe it or not, next week with the 17 degrees, it's going to be time to amend our soil. Soil, it provides the structure, the nutrients, and everything your plant needs to grow strong and healthy. And soil is not dirt. So when people ask me what kind of dirt they need to plant their plants in, I'll let them know that's what you sweep under the rug, and that's what we gossip about with our friends around coffee. Soil, on the other hand, provides all the structure, the nutrients that your plants need to grow strong and healthy and vigorous. So the components of a good amendment to your soil, which needs to be done every spring. We have our first element, which is topsoil. So you can do the squeeze test. Topsoil should be nice and form a nice loose ball, but should also break apart very easily. And then we have compost. Compost should be very light and airy and not hold into a strong ball. And then we have our soilless mix, which is basically just bark mulch, perlite, and peat. And then we have worm castings, which is the very best slow release fertilizer you can use for your plants. And it's just basically worm poop, looks a little bit like caviar. And then we have zeolite, and zeolite is best used, especially in Calgary with our high clay soil base that we have. It breaks down your clay over time, and it provides channels for water and nutrients to get down to your root system. So the perfect mix basically changes for whatever you're planting. So if you're going to plant if you're just going to amend your bed that's in the ground, you just want to basically take off a third of the old stuff, add a third of the new topsoil, so a third of the old, a third of the new, and then you want to add a third of the compost. And then you want to layer, I usually say 4 to 1 is the amount for the worm castings, so 4 parts of your soil base to 1 part of worm castings. And if you're in the ground, again, where there's clay, then a couple inches of the zeolite on top will help with that. If you have a raised garden bed, like many people are now growing their veggies and such in a raised bed, if you have a new one, same thing, so 60, 30, 10, and mix that all together. So 60 top, 30 compost, and 10 of your soilless. Your soilless is basically just for aeration and provides everything to flow through. And then if it's an old bed, raised bed, keep a 30-year-old soil, add a third of the new top and a third of the compost, and the same thing layered on top. Most of your annual pots that you have, you basically need to get rid of all of that soil. Most of those guys that you buy are planted in the soilless mix, so as we talked about, there's no nutrients at all in there. So if you're going to replant your plants in your pots, or your window baskets, you want to make sure that you add compost to your soilless mix. So usually it's 2/3 to 1/3. So start with your soilless and add a third of the compost, throw in some worm castings, and you'll be good to go. The only way you can make a mistake amending your soil is to not amend it at all. That's great. Happy snow day.